How do you think Devontae Adams feels about a full week of practice with Jimmy Garoppolo?
Refreshed.
Yeah?
Yeah, refreshed.
Sometimes you need to get away from somebody you hated so much and, you basically said everything you needed to say on a Netflix documentary of how much you didn't like him as a quarterback just to know that you need to get back with him for a week.
I think it was all a ploy, Derek.
Just to be reunited?
I think it was reverse psychology. He acted like he hated Jimmy Garoppolo, where in reality he hated the Raiders and he just wanted a reunion with Jimmy.
Yeah. I was watching the clip yesterday when I saw the news that we're basically going on, like, this is gonna be like 2 weeks of Matthew Stafford not practicing with the Rams. This kind of reminds me of 3 years ago where like his shoulder or his elbow was all messed up,
That's
and
right.
McVay was like, no, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. He's gonna throw. I think my impression's better than Cope's. And did you hear Chris Rose do his impression to Sean McVay yesterday?
No.
I was watching way too much. We're Back Together weekend on NFL Network.
I did not watch any of it, so I didn't see the thing.
Yeah, consider yourself lucky because while I admit I do love a bunch of NFL shit, yeah, a lot of nothing yesterday. Although we did learn that, and I kind of knew this, but I don't know why I went along with everybody else. I know this is going to sound very arrogant and hipster of me, but I did know that Bijan's name, Bijan Robinson, is Bijan. But for whatever reason,
I didn't know that.
When he got to the NFL, everybody started calling him Bijan. I'm like, have I been saying it wrong this whole time? So I just went with the flow. So I am a sheep in that regard.
It's like the Terrell thing. Some people call him Terrell Owens when really it's Terrell.
It is Terrell Owens, yes. So it's Terrell Davis, Terrell Owens.
Right.
That's how I always remember that.
Tyrod and Tyrod Taylor. So my favorite thing about that whole situation, I think I mentioned it at the start of this podcast, is how literally at the beginning, like 349 episodes ago, in our earlier episodes when we were talking about Hard Knocks, and how he literally said, yeah, my name's Tyrod. Everyone calls me Tyrod, but it's Tyrod. And no one went on calling him Tyrod. It was still Tyrod.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
we didn't listen at all. We just covered our ears and said,
because Tyrod is just so weird. And I know that as a society, if we've been calling you a certain name for a while, it's hard to change just like that.
It's like horrible bosses when they're speaking to the security driver that's a part of the company for the car. And he's like, my name is Atmanand.
Atmanand? Yeah, and then Jason Sudeikis. This is way before his Ted Lasso and very understanding PC ways. He's like, Atmanand, whatever. Fuck, dude, I can't understand what your name is. I'm not calling you that.
We're calling you Gregory, buddy. Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. And also, Bijan works with Dijon's mustard. It was part of like a whole marketing thing. Remember when he was selling that? I think I still have some.
Oh yeah. You bought some?
I got it as a gift. My fellow Texas brethren, my old roommate Grayson, bought me a Christmas gift of some Bijan's Dijon. But now it's Bijan's Dijon. That sounds good.
You have sparked something, Derek. I really want to know now how these NIL deals worked out on the business side. I want to know, how much did SOS Heating and Cooling get from DeColdest Crawford?
Oh man, I forgot about that dude.
DeColdest. Always the coldest. How much business did they get? How much Bijan's Dijon actually sold? How much? Gosh, there's been so many. I can't even remember like the good ones. But I'd like to know the business side, like how they actually did as far as, finance.
Are you that interested?
Kind of.
Okay. At the end of the day, I just like that those kids got paid. I mean, I'm sure in the local Austin area that Bijan's Dijon did very well, but I don't know about nationally.
Bijan's Dijon, it's just rolls
exactly.
Off the tongue.
That's why Joe Theismann changed his name to Theismann changed his name to Theismann to rhyme with Heisman. It's all about marketing.
I get it.
Yeah,
but when did he say that? When did he say that? When did he reveal this about his name?
Bijan?
Yeah.
Yesterday, I think Steve Weish. I could be wrong, but someone caught up with him during the training camp interviews, and he said, "I know everybody calls me Bijan, and that's okay, but it's Bijan."
Oh,
yeah!
Wow. Well, I'm going to call him Bijan from now on. If that's
that's an easy one. I think like I don't know. Some people have a hard time with what's another one? Like you tell us to change. Like actually it's actually this, and people are like, no, I can only imagine today if like Muhammad Ali was boxing today, and he went from Cassius Clay to Muhammad Ali, and everybody's like, whoa, that's too much of a big deal for us.
Yeah, Trump would threaten an executive order for him to change it back.
Yeah, exactly. His mama, can you imagine that? His mama named him Clay. I'ma call him Clay.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if there's any of them anymore currently that I could think of. I can't think of any right now off the top of my head. But we do have AJ Cruz in the chat, or should I say Ajay?
I'm sure you do not pronounce his name that way. That'd be stupid.
No, it's just AJ.
I figured. Back to the main point I was talking about, though, with Devontae. I was watching that clip of him with the Raiders wide receiver show a year ago, where he was saying, I need to get the fuck out of here, man. I'm getting lit the fuck up. And I remember even Jimmy, like, kind of passive aggressively during a game, calling him out, being like, "You good? You good?" And he was like, "Yeah, of course I'm good, dude." You think Devontae knew when he signed with the Rams that Jimmy was going to be the backup?
Had no clue.
Yeah.
Zero clue. He thought he was going for Stafford, man. Stafford and Puka. Those were the two draws, and McVay.
And I don't blame him on that one, because I think Matthew Stafford's probably the closest thing he's going to have in a quarterback since playing with Aaron Rodgers. But yeah, when Stafford now is going through this weird deal where he's got a back issue, and as McVay says, it's week to week, I'm sure Devontae's like, I got to catch passes from Jimmy. And it looks good. I mean, every training camp shot I see is the best. Like, they're not going to, like, yeah, they'll show every now and then, like, an interception or whatnot. But, Aaron Rodgers throws a deep pass to DK Metcalf, but it's way out of bounds. But everybody's like, oh, man, look at the catch. I don't care. And also, I really feel bad because Matt Mayoko was on with us last Wednesday. And did I already say this where I asked him about kicking stats? Like, you don't really post those, do you, Matt? And he goes, yes, Derek, I do. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, Matt.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that one. I think I heard that live.
I didn't know. I should have checked ahead of time, but I also know Matt well enough to make that faux pas, but also I can tell Matt is like, I don't want to have to do this. You know how stupid this is?
Isn't he just doing pre and post now?
For Niners on NBC Bay Area?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a part of the coverage now because, unfortunately, Dante told Alex Simon he's not part of the broadcast anymore.
Right. So, but Mayoko is still on the beat, though.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right. Got it. I was under the assumption that he was only doing pre and post, in which case I'd say, Matt, for the first time in 30 years, you don't have to go with kicking stats at training camp, man. You can take a play off there.
He's definitely still the insider for the 49ers.
Okay, gotcha.
I actually don't know if he's going to travel on game days, though. That's the interesting part. Yeah. If he's going to be in studio now with Rod Brooks and Carlos Ramirez. But yeah, no, Devontae. Yeah. Kind of feel bad. Anyway,
something. The other thing that from Rams camp that because I didn't see any of that.
Okay.
I didn't see Devontae even talking about Jimmy.
He didn't talk about him. He's just catching passes from him now because that's the only quarterback that's healthy. Or I think they have Sterling Bennett still, but or wait, is that his name? Sorry, not Sterling Bennett. What's his name?
Sterling Bennett.
Yeah, Sterling Bennett works for 95.7. Who's the guy who's the quarterback for Georgia? That's the backup, third string guy for the Rams. Stetson Bennett. There you go.
The thing from Rams camp that surfaced cracked me up, and I think you saw it. Everyone saw it because they were just playing it nonstop all over every network. But it was Jared Verse talking about Aaron Donald and working out with him, and I think it's worth a play on this podcast.
Yeah, go for it.
7 in the morning. I'm thinking we got like an hour workout. I got plans after. I got things I got to do throughout the day. I was planning on watching film and everything like that. We show up. He doesn't say hi and nothing like that. He sees me. He's like, come on. We do a little dap up. We walk inside. He's like, stretch how you have to. I stretch. We do 4. Everything he does is like a circuit. We do 4 workouts. It's all cardio. Versus the climber bike. Lunges and core. 4 rounds each. You do all that. You're already tired. You're kind of like, oh my God, whatever. Then you do 4 sets of core, 2 different workouts. So it's like 8 different workouts, 4 sets each. You do all that for 4 sets. You go through. He's like, "Are you ready for the real workout?" I'm like, "Bro, I've been here for 45 minutes. What are you talking about?" We go to the weight room. It's all arms. That's why he's big as hell. We go to the weight room. It's like 8 different circuits, all arms, 4 sets each. I'm there for an hour and a half. His wife came in laughing at me. I told her to call the police. I'm dead serious. Like, I'm not even joking. I'm dead serious. I told her to call the police. She wouldn't do it. I tried to lie and say my mom was at my house and I had to go let her in. He told me to give my keys to his like his management or assistant or something. They'd go let my mom in. So I wasn't leaving. Finished the workout. I'm like dead tired. I'm exhausted. I had a plan to go jump in the sauna afterwards. Didn't happen. Had plans to watch film. Didn't happen. Went home and I didn't work out for like another day and a half because I couldn't move my body. He needs to stay away from me, and the security sees him on property. They need to take care of him.
That just shows that Aaron Donald's still a fucking beast, man.
Yeah. I like Jared Verse, though.
No, he's definitely entertaining. He's going to be a problem for the 49ers for years to come.
I could also see why people get it. People on the other team just don't like him. I could see him being a talker.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen any mic'd up moments with him, but he seems like he'd be very entertaining during a football game.
It was him and the Eagles, right? Didn't the Eagles despise him during that playoff game?
I'm sure they did, but I don't know. To be honest, I'm really good about that shit. I guess this past offseason, I have not seen any but with the exception of the Super Bowl, I don't think I've seen a lot of mic'd up stuff from this past playoff run.
There was just a lot I remember with Verse and the Eagles because Verse was having a hell of a game. And no one liked him because of how much he talked.
Yeah,
but it was the Draymond Green type of hatred, though. It's like the type where you hate that he's on the other team, but you love him on your team. Obviously, he seems like a pretty funny dude. So I'm sure off the field, they all like him. But I'm saying on the field, I can see him being a thorn in their side.
And actually, the way he talks, I would probably be more interested in him doing a podcast than Micah Parsons. But then again, I'm not advocating for a bunch of current players to get podcasts these days.
One I'm kind of interested in now. I'm not Richard Sherman's is good.
Yeah. I heard him talking with Darius Slay about Juwan Jennings getting a contract.
Now he's got that going. Now he's got Darius Slay on there. You buried my lead, Derek.
I'm sorry. Wait, can I just chime in too with what you were going to talk about?
Yeah,
What's your take on that then, Steven?
I'm interested.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, 2 cornerbacks that are, obviously Richard Sherman's been retired for quite some time, and Darius Slay now with the Steelers, the twilight of his career, just conversing on, how to bump and grind, how to, play bump and run when it comes to being a man corner. By the way,
Derek, before we get started, I think this is a great way to start off the podcast.
Haven't we started?
I haven't listened to this yet.
Okay.
I'm just seeing a quote, and it literally popped up as soon as I went to Twitter. So I just decided that we should play it, even though I haven't heard it yet. This is Jameis Winston speaking from training camp, and I think just with how the summer has gone in the Bay Area with the weather, Derek, I think this will be a nice uplifting video to play right before a pod.
How y'all doing? Don't let the dreariness of the overcast affect your mood, guys. Come on. It is Sunday, huh? Lord's Day. Every day is Lord's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, he was dead ass serious when we talked about the Lord's Day. He was cracking a smile, then that went away. We were talking about Jesus.
I agree, though. It is overcast out here, and it's
dreary. It is, but you know what? I see about like around 2:00, it'll be sunny in the East Bay.
Oh, it'll clear up. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm with my guy Tim Webb. The other day, he went on a whole rant as he does on Tuesdays to discuss, a slice of life take. And he's like, you know what? Have you never been to the Bay Area in the summertime in San Francisco? It's always overcast. It's always cloudy. You always have to wear a jacket. I don't know why everyone's complaining so much these days. I agree with him when it comes to San Francisco. With the East Bay, it's usually hot as shit and sunny out.
Numbers don't lie, though. It is on record like the coldest summer in San Francisco in years.
I don't doubt that, but I'm used to that. I've always gone to the city in the summertime, and it's usually cold.
Mm-hmm. Wind don't lie, Derek. Cloud don't lie.
No, it does not. Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa.
See, we got a ROM. We got a ROM here. Yeah, but it's the coldest summer in San Francisco since '82. So yes, he could. Okay, of course it's always overcast, but not like this.
You had to ruin my intro like that, Stephen, just to read a Rom's tweet. And Rom, where the hell you been, dude? It's been a long time since you've been in this chat. Good to see you, though.
Go on.
Just your opinion, man. Stephen Langford, Derek Papa. We're coming to you on a Sunday. Stephen, go ahead.
Kickers, Derek. So
Huh?
you mentioned kickers.
No, I
with
didn't.
Matt
Oh,
Mayo.
yeah. Okay, I guess I did.
Yep.
All right.
Yes. You mentioned kickers, and I have something on the 49ers
Is
kickers.
this how we're starting with kickers?
Yeah.
By all means.
Or do we go with Christian Wilkins first?
No, we'll get to Christian Wilkins. That happened Thursday after we did the pod last Wednesday night, and I'm not really surprised with that situation. But by all means, kickers, Steven.
No, let's you know what?
No.
That's a tease. I think a lot of people are going to tune in because of that.
No. Go on with your kickers. Let me hear it.
No, this is all about time spent listening, Derek. TSL. We're getting that TSL on a podcast. That's what that tease was all about. We'll be talking kickers at 11:30.
You can't treat this like a radio show. You already brought up the kickers. You might as well just go with it. Go for it.
All right. Here's my thing. Like real quick, because I know this wasn't going to be much of a talking point, and I wanted to get this out of the way. The kicking competition at 49ers camp has been the big talk of it, right?
Has it? Okay.
Yeah, a little bit. Like questions are getting asked, and people are paying attention because
I think we make a big deal about Jake Moody and who is it? Is it Zane Gonzalez? I don't even know who the other kicker is.
That's the thing. The other kicker is Greg Joseph. So it's
Good to know.
as we're going to be paying attention to this kicking competition, I don't think you want Moody losing that job.
No.
I think that's my message to Niner fans there, because I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm seeing a lot of this Moody stuff, and I'm kind of just looking back on the season, Derek. I'm kind of leaning to the side of Kyle Shanahan a little bit, where he said, look, we do want to bring in some competition here, but he was good before the injury.
Yes.
And then after the injury, he stunk. He was like 11 of 20, whatever it was. But if Greg Joseph is going to be the successor to Jake Moody, then I got some bad news there, because though he's been in the league for a long time, and I think the 49ers are his 12th NFL team, the guy is not good with long distance kicks. So I just think if you're replacing the leg of Moody with that of Greg Joseph, I think it's a dream not worth having.
Okay, that's fair. If that's the big talk about training camp, then things are going really well for the 49ers. And I think Aram hits it on the head here. Moody's expression always looks like he just smelled a musty fart. Yeah, probably. Although I'm sure he doesn't have that expression when he kicks a 50-yard field goal in the Super Bowl. But yeah, people made too much of a big deal with Moody, honestly. Like he got hurt, and he's a young kicker. There's going to be some misses, some inconsistencies. Like Aram will remember this. Sebastian Janikowski's rookie season, he missed a shit ton of kicks. I think he missed like 10. And he also had like some weird fungal thing that was keeping him from kicking in games. So just give it time. It's only going to be what? This would be his third season in the league.
Yeah.
And the Bucks, who was my guy? You remember him, Steven? The guy that the Bucks drafted in like the second round? Like Aguayo.
Roberto Aguayo or something like that.
I thought they moved off of him way too quickly, but then again, he was costing them games. So Moody, I could count on he missed the kick against the Browns 2 seasons ago. He probably impacted a game this season. Yeah, he missed 3, I think, against the Bucks, but still ended up winning the game. Yeah. I calm down, everybody. Like we're kickers and training camp, like small potatoes.
Well, special teams is a big phase of the game, and I do think the special teams is a large question mark at training camp, especially since Jacob Cowing got hurt. Cowing was meant to be their primary kick returner. And now he's out with an injury, a pulled hamstring. And it's like, it's not like they're going to lose him for the remainder of the season. But what if he gets hurt again? Like, what's your next option? And special teams, like, as AJ said, kickers, punt returners, and special teams have been sore spots for years. And is he including Jesus in that comment? He also says Jesus at first. Or is that just more of a reaction? Jesus, kickers, punt returners, and special teams have been sore spots for years.
Yeah, I would say Jesus has been a sore spot for the 49ers. He hasn't really helped them out in big games lately.
Come on, Jesus. Yeah, so I think you're underplaying it. Kind of like you underplayed that lawsuit a little while back, Derek. The grievance that got swept under the rug. Is it really a big deal? Is anything going to happen? And then the two people involved in the case ended up resigning because of the pushback.
Yeah, Lloyd Howell and J.C. Treader.
Yeah.
Well, that was more Lloyd Howell loves himself some Tootsies in Florida, and I'm talking about strip
and none
club.
of this stuff would have been revealed without that reporting, Derek.
He also loves a parking spot to remember the great O.J. Simpson.
Yes.
Which, you know, I think Greg Papa would probably agree with him. But what I'm saying, though, in the grand scheme of things with that whole lawsuit is, yeah, it as far as like the guaranteed money stuff, I don't think that's a big deal because I don't think the owners were going to give the players guaranteed money to begin with. But as far as like making the NFLPA seem shady, yes, absolutely, that's a big deal.
Mhm.
But it doesn't stop the NFL business from going. Guys are signing contracts. You're seeing second-round draft picks get fully guaranteed deals. So while I'm sure at the time it was like Lamar Jackson misses out on a fully guaranteed deal, it's only because it was coming off of the heels of a Deshaun Watson fully guaranteed deal that was an anomaly. So I would say the big whistle blown in the whole thing is that the NFLPA is shady. And we'll see if Christian Wilkins gets good representation now because he has a grievance to file against the Raiders on behalf of the NFLPA.
Yes.
Good
So we'll get to
transition.
that. Nice.
All right.
Nice work.
All right, let's do it. So on Thursday, saw the news that Christian Wilkins was going to be released by the Las Vegas Raiders. And this is a year after he signs a 4-year, $110 million contract with $84.75 guaranteed. And the reason why they were, the reason why, still overcoming a bug, actually had to miss Thursday's show. The Raiders actually got to void $35.2 million of his guarantees based on a refusal to get a second surgery. So that's why this whole thing has been weird with him being on PUP. Excuse me. Because Christian Wilkins, we talked about it last podcast, had the Jones fracture. He, hurt his foot in week 5 and still has not recovered. And there's been rumors out there that he may have re-injured it. His rehab didn't go well. Whatever happened, the Raiders thought it was appropriate for him to get a second surgery, and he just did not want to do that. And the Raiders said, okay, well, this is definitely in violation of the contract. You're trying to get back on the field, so we're going to release you and void your guarantees. And now he's going to file a lawsuit against them with the NFLPA. So basically, altogether, the Raiders paid about $50 million for 5 games for Christian Wilkins. And that's disappointing because he was one of the biggest free agent signings in quite some time. I thought it was a slam dunk. Patrick Graham knew him from his days with the Miami Dolphins. So, yeah, it's disappointing. But then there's something else. I don't know if you saw this, Steven. Josina Anderson has a very vague report saying that there's something that went on with a teammate, a prank of some sorts, that the Raiders are not happy with, which was another reason why they released him. But just your reaction on Christian Wilkins getting released, because while I do think that some people will say, typical Raiders, here we go, another shitstorm right before the season starts, I would say this was a necessary move.
I would say this is atypical of the Raiders. I'd say the old Raiders would have kept him around and then released him. Like, I think they just wanted to use the cliche that I always use, that everyone uses. I need to think of a new one here. They wanted to just rip the Band-Aid off early. Turn the TV off early. Close the window off. Close the window early. I don't know. We need to come up with something.
Go to bed early?
Rip the Band-Aid off. We need another cliche when we talk about doing things at an appropriate time or at a time when, something could be avoided in the future. And what could have been avoided in the future would be, more missed games and also paying him more money. So I think this is atypical of the old Raiders. I think the Raiders would have kept him around, the old Raiders, and then released him eventually. I like this. Look, it sucks what happened with him. It really did. But if it took over a year and they really found that there was a second surgery that was needed for the foot and he just didn't go along with it, well, then so be it. Like, I would normally be on the player side in this situation. I like to side with the player. But if you'd already made $50 million guaranteed I'm not going to feel sorry for you. Like, sorry, you didn't do what the team asked and then the team released you. Like, it makes quite a bit of sense. I also learned something off of these grievances, and you know what, that rumor. I don't even really care about Wilkins, whether he had an incident with the player, what his history was, because he's done. They cut him from the team.
Yeah.
It sounds like the Raiders really want to move forward, and that's kind of what I'm going to do personally. Like, anything that happened in the past with Wilkins, whatever. But my guess is that player would be Jackson Powers Johnson, because that guy seems to be a hothead, and I like it.
Okay, you're guessing that's the player in question?
Well, I mean, because Max Crosby straight up said that me and JPJ didn't like each other last year, and he's really grown and mature. Yeah, they said they butted heads quite a bit, and I wouldn't be surprised if they both did that, because I think Powers Johnson's a real team first guy, and if you're not rehabbing the way that you should, he might come out. That's just a guess. That's just a guess on my part. But
yeah.
Anyway, again, going to move past it, Derek. That's the only time I'm going to mention it. I learned that upon other grievances, I learned that Antonio Brown, because this is very similar to the Antonio Brown situation when the Raiders released him after 11 days and they voided the remaining $30 million guaranteed in his contract. He filed 9 grievances with the NFL Players Association. 9 of them between the Raiders and the Patriots. And he agreed to, I think, one settlement with the Pats. He got I think they voided $9 million guaranteed, and he got $5 million of it in a settlement with the Pats.
This also happened simultaneously when he was accused of sexual assault, correct?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. So what will come of this grievance? I don't know. I think this is just going to be something that Pete Carroll and John Spytek don't even have to really deal with themselves. They got other people to deal with that. They got team lawyers, attorneys, whoever in their business who can handle all of that. So again, I'm kind of just moving on now. I mean, I feel bad for the player, but at the end of the day, he got $50 million and now he can go wherever he wants and recover the way that he wants. It's just not going to be with the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really comment on the rumors that Josina Anderson reported on. I can't even say if it's like a Richie Incognito or Jonathan Martin situation, but whatever happened there, we'll probably get more information. Maybe Hondo Carpenter has a more in-depth thing, as he usually does with his bullet points.
Christian Wilkins signed a deal, 5 years, $85 million, period. Next bullet point.
It was just a prank. It was a harmless prank until it wasn't.
He said Raiders really loud at his press conference. Next bullet point.
Exactly. So this was the official statement from the Raiders when they released Christian Wilkins. We decided that it is in the best interest of the organization to move on from Christian Wilkins, and he has been informed of his release from the team. This franchise has a commitment to excellence on and off the field. We have, with no clear path or plan for the future, future return to play from Christian, this transaction is necessary for the entire organization to move forward and prepare for the new season. I like how straightforward it is. It doesn't say we wish him the best or whatever. It just says this is why we did this, and we're not fucking around. I agree with you, Steven. This is atypical of the Raiders, but it also kind of harkens back to the days of Al Davis a little bit. Like, I don't know what he would have done in this situation. I think back to, and Aram will remember this, 2008. When he signed Javon Walker, and that's one of the worst free agent signings in NFL history. If you remember that, I think it was not that offseason, but maybe earlier. There was a whole situation where Javon Walker got beat up in Las Vegas. It might have been related to the Darren Williams murder. Remember that, where they were partying at a New Year's Eve party, and they were in a limousine, and he died in his arms. There was something shady going on where he was with some guys, and that was the first red flag where I was like, ooh, I don't know what's going on with that. And then my dad tells the story that just angers me. Javon Walker, during training camp, goes to Al Davis and says, I feel like I'm stealing money from you. And he was one of the highest paid wide receivers in football at this point. He was released by the Denver Broncos. He's in his early 30s, but back then Al had to overpay for every free agent. So Javon's in Al Davis's office, and he's like, I feel like I'm stealing money from you. I can't play anymore. And I was like, calm down. Calm down. Calm down. It's not an Al Davis impression. That's just me coughing. Calm down. You're still a great player. I believe in you. You'll do greatness. You'll do great things with the Raiders. And he convinced him to keep playing and steal money from him. And that's what Al Davis did, where he was not going to admit that he made a mistake. If he overpaid for a player and they were injured or they weren't the same guy, he's just going to go with the flow because I don't make mistakes. I don't know what voice I'm doing, but yeah, regardless. There's also the Al Davis that, would void the contracts of Lane Kiffin or Mike Shanahan for cause because, to his liking, he didn't coach the team properly. So I don't know what the Raiders would have done in this situation and Al Davis been around, but it feels like, they would just go with the flow because they don't want to look bad with Christian Wilkins being this big player, and now they have egg on their face from having to release him. I do like that John Spytek, even though he is a green general manager, he's been in NFL front offices for quite some time, so he doesn't fuck around. He's worked with, Andy Reid with the Eagles, and he's worked with Sean Payton, and he's worked with a lot of, historical coaches in this league. So he knows what a well-run organization looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And, Tom Brady, he was there a year ago or mid-season, but he, I guess, really didn't get to know Tom Telesco that well because he got fired and kind of signed off on that. As we talked with Evan Giddings a year ago, like Tom Telesco is not the best general manager. He decides big names sometimes. You saw that with J.C. Jackson going to the Chargers. So was he the right fit, Christian Wilkins? Probably, yeah. He probably would have been a good player. But given what Pete Carroll's trying to establish, the culture change, it's best to move on if he's not going to do the right things. Like you saw when the Seahawks acquired Percy Harvin one season and they got to the Super Bowl, and it was like, all right, awesome. During that Super Bowl run, though, there was rumors about him and Golden Tate getting into a fight right before the game. And they let it go for a little while because they were trying to go back-to-back. But once it escalated to the point with no return, Pete Carroll was like, I'm not having you fuck up my culture. So you're out of here. Yeah. So I think that's the right move by Pete Carroll. It's the right move by John Spytek to be like, Christian, we gave you a chance. You have no, you don't really have the initiative to get back and play football this season. So we're going to cut you. You're not getting paid.
Yeah. They are turning the Raiders into a serious franchise. And I don't know how long they've been a serious franchise. How long it's been since they've been a serious franchise. I guess you'd have to say at the time when they were with Jack Del Rio and Reggie McKenzie and, on the verge of making it pretty far in the postseason, had Derek Carr not broken his ankle or leg. I forgot which one it was. I think it was his ankle. But I think they are turning this back into a serious I think that's like even more important than their results on the field. Like, sure, you want them to turn it around from a 4-13 season.
Yeah.
Can't have that. Like, put some wins on the board, damn it. But also
you just turned to Michael Keaton when you said that. Good Lord.
A little bit.
4-13 season we're talking about here. Come on.
Get nuts.
Come on. Trying to buy a McDonald's here.
Turn just earn this reputation as a serious franchise because they haven't been. They haven't been since they hired Gruden along. Like, I go back to the Antonio Brown thing. They just let him do whatever he wants because he was so damn good in practice that they just didn't care what he would for any of his antics. Like, they didn't care about any blowback there. Like, he was going to do whatever he wanted. Then when Josh McDaniels and, Ziegler came around, like, they weren't a serious franchise. They were a serious franchise in that it seemed like those two were really trying to break away from the Patriot way, but then come to find out that none of the players really have their respect. Maybe Ziegler did, but McDaniel certainly didn't. And obviously the Antonio Pierce thing, like, that goes really without saying. I know I made fun of you a lot, but they were just smoking cigars after wins, which was fun, but it's not serious. Like,
just say I was right. It's okay.
You were. It's Todd Downey running down the sideline after Derek Carr completes a deep pass, and they stunk.
Yeah.
And it, like, that's what it was. That's what they were. But now you have this. You have this where it's like, hey, you're not going to take our advice. You're not going to kind of go with the Raider way, whatever we're turning it into. Then, all right, man, you're gone. I don't care how much money you're making and how important you could be. We'll figure it out without you. Like, I like the way that Pete Carroll addressed it. He was pretty straightforward with the media a couple of days ago.
It took a long time to make our decision. We watched our way through the whole thing. We're keeping really clear with what we said. I think there was no clear path to his return. And so we just had to move on.
That's it. Just move on, and that's
No,
what they'll do.
Short and sweet and simple, and that's why Pete Carroll is a professional coach, because he's going to talk up these players and talk glowingly about them and be positive. But when someone's being overly, I don't even want to say overly negative, but like if there's no clear path, if there's no initiative to come back, if you're not doing everything possible to get back on the field, the Pete's like, buddy, I love you, but it's time to move on. Like there's no clear path.
Mhm.
I don't see when you're coming back. And they tried their best. Like I'm sure John Spytek got the job and knew of the situation and was like, all right, well, we still got time before training camp. We'll see what his timeline is. Like, this probably seemed like a quick reaction to the whole situation, but at the same time, I do think they did their due diligence. They're doing this on July, whatever the day was, July 24th. They did have the whole offseason. They could have, if they did this in March, we'd be like, whoa, what the hell's going on here? They tried to see if Christian Wilkins was improving, and it's not happening. My favorite thing, though, is when someone gets released, then everybody else is like, ooh, 49ers. Well, they need defensive tackle help. Let's pick him up. He's not going to play this season, guys. He's not healthy. That's the problem. It's clear that Christian Wilkins showed up to training camp and was still in a boot from an injury that happened in October. And they were like, what's the timeline here? And he's like, I don't know. And they're like, well, get another surgery. Nope. You can't do that. So, and I've even heard, I don't know how legit this is, but John Middlecoff on his podcast, the 3 and Out podcast, scouts have told him that he's never going to be the same player again. He may not even play football ever again, which that sounds dramatic for a Jones fracture, but who knows? So I think the Raiders avoided disaster when they usually are a part of disasters. They nipped this in the bud real quick. Now, who's going to replace him? You said Adam Butler.
Tonka Hemingway, Derek.
Tonka Hemingway, yes, the fantastic name that they drafted in the 4th round this year. I think that's, you do want a premier player like Christian Wilkins in that spot, but I also do trust the draft analysis, or I guess the draft evaluations of a John Spytek and Pete Carroll's eye for talent. So I do feel pretty good about that situation.
Yeah, and Adam Butler's already a starter. Like he would have been. Yeah. He would have been one of the starting 4 along with Christian Wilkins.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a question of who's going to line up alongside him. Yeah, I really don't know the answer. You got to hope the rookies do something, because the depth, Tashawn Reed kind of laid it out on The Athletic earlier. They don't have much at that position. I mean, they don't have any names that jump out at you. I don't know. Adam Butler at one point was just a name, and then I'm like, who the hell is this? So hopefully there's another guy in that position who can fill that slot. I don't know who it is. I really don't. I hope it's Tonka Hemingway, because he's got a great name, and we like that. So there you go.
Do love a good name. As long as they have Max Crosby and you see growth from Tyree Wilson and the return of Malcolm Kuntz off of injury, I do think the defensive line will be pretty solid. It would have been nice for Christian Wilkins, but then again, this is the situation they're in, and he's got a bad foot. He's got like a bad Pat H foot on the patio. So, hopefully he comes, or whatever. I mean, hopefully his injury doesn't stop his career. But as far as the Raiders, I hope it doesn't prevent them from being a really good defense this season.
Yeah, and there's a lot. I'll say this. I know I've been hard on him ever since he was drafted, but there's a lot of good about Tyree Wilson that's coming out of this camp so far.
See, sometimes you got to wait, Steven.
Yeah, sometimes. Or if he has that same get off that we've seen these last couple of years, I'm going to still say the same thing.
That's fine. Like, this is year 3 now, right?
Yeah.
By year 3, you should have a good repertoire when it comes to pass rush moves. If you're doing the same shit that you saw in his rookie season, then by all means, go off on him. But you were ready to say that he was a bad draft pick like 7 games into his career.
I'm still feeling pretty good about that.
All right, we'll see. I
mean, there's a lot coming out of. There's a lot of positive coming out of training camp, so I'm still willing to keep the door open on it.
Well, people said the same thing about Khalil Mack, that he didn't get a sack until probably his 9th game, his 10th game.
Man, we didn't say the same thing about Khalil Mack. We said it was only a matter of time. With Wilson, the entire time we've been saying, where is he?
I don't know, dude. I mean, like Khalil Mack was a force in the run game, but that was when the Raiders were 0-10. And things were looking pretty bad. And everybody's like, where the hell is this guy going to show up? When is he going to make a difference in a game?
I don't remember it being that way. I remember being really high.
Well, the focus was on how terrible they were. They didn't win a game at that point.
We knew the sacks would come. We knew they would happen eventually.
Yeah. As far as everything else that's going on in training camp right now, the headlines today are for 49ers fans that Ricky Pearsall is off PUP. He's practicing. And that was the expectation from Kyle Shanahan when he talked to the media earlier this week. He said Sunday was the day. He would be surprised if he wasn't out there, and he's out there. So I know that there's been a lot with this guy, and obviously you cannot, I know this is stating the obvious, but you cannot blame him as far as like being injury prone with him getting shot. That's ridiculous. But I know a year ago he had hamstring injury.
Hang on. That would be the worst type of fan.
Of course it would be.
To say, oh my God, this guy's injury prone after getting shot in Union Square. That's terrible.
Of course it is. But you know, there's people out there like that. And even Ricky Pearsall brought that up, or John Lynch brought that up, you know, during Memorial Day a year ago. Oh, sorry, Labor Day a year ago, where he told John Lynch in the hospital, I'm not injury prone. And he goes, Ricky, you got shot, dude. Like, this is not an injury. This is basically a murder attempt on your life.
Yeah.
So take that out of it, obviously.
Yeah.
The hamstring injury that prevented him from doing preseason a year ago, he needs to play in preseason games this year. And I have a lot of, you know, expectations for Ricky Pearsall in this offense. I expect him to be a Cooper Kupp type, like receiver for the 49ers. I do think he's the most talented guy in their receiving core. I think Juwan Jennings is the most reliable guy. But yeah, I do think that, you know, I know that some fans are going to be weird about his injury situation, but let's see what he does this training camp. And if it becomes, you know, more of a thing where he pops up on the injury report, then you can't be concerned.
Yeah, but I got to be honest, man. Like, I know I mentioned the kicking, but if I'm going straight between offense and defense, and if I'm looking at training camp, it's the defense. I think Ricky Pearsall is going to be healthy. Like, I think you're right. And there are some pretty high expectations for what he should do in the preseason, but I'm not really focused on the offense. Like, the offense, we know what they're capable of. Really, it's just a case of staying healthy. That's all it is with them.
Yeah, but see, Rockin already has this foregone conclusion. It seems like he's going to be injury plagued throughout his career. Why do you say that? Just because he's had hamstring injuries in training camp the last 2 years? I don't think that's that big of a deal, Rockin.
I do think it could be, though. You never know, but it could be. But again, for now, it's healthy. So I'm not like, if it lingered, if this was like the Christian McCaffrey thing where we're just not getting any answers, then fine. But Pearsall, I think, is. I think he's pretty set up pretty well for success, as is the offense, but I think it's about the guys around them. I don't think it's so much about Pearsall. I'm waiting to see with McCaffrey. I'm waiting to see with Trent Williams, because without Trent, like, I don't know what to make of that offensive line.
Exactly.
Kyle Juszczyk staying healthy, George Kittle, especially George Kittle, all these guys, like, I'm like more concerned with the older gentlemen than I am with the younger players. And then Jacob Cowing too. Like, I don't know who the hell is going to be the slot receiver while Ayuk's gone. Like, what, you're going to have Pearsall and Jennings, then who's like the number 3?
I do not know. That is a good question, especially when Demarcus Robinson was supposed to be that guy, and the expectation is going to be suspended for the first 3 games. Right. Yeah. I do have more confidence in the offense than I do the defense. I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but I did say this on Dirty Work, that I do think that this is the first time in a while where the offense is going to have to carry the defense. And you could say that the offense and defense were on par. And there were seasons where like the 2023 season, yes, the offense was better than the defense that year. But going into the season, you still had the expectation that the Niners were going to be one of the best defenses in football. And they still were solid. But this is the first time going into a season with Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch where I think the offense is going to have to pick up the defense. Very much like, you know, after the Raiders had that great season in 2016 and ultimately ended early because of Derek Carr's injury. But the next season, you knew that the offense was going to have to carry the defense because the defense was just not that good. So that's all I'm saying. Like, I think Robert Saleh can scheme it up, and they could be, you know, opportunistic. But to have the sack numbers in years past, I don't think it's going to be like that. What you expect it to be is, like I said, like the Rams, where they hit on Jared Verse or Brandon Fisk. Yeah, they need to hit on these guys. But I don't know how quickly it's going to be where you see, you know, results right away. So, yeah, I do think that the offense is going to pick things up. But I do have faith in Kyle, and I do have faith in McCaffrey. I do have faith in Purdy. So, yeah, I do think the offense is going to be good this year.
Yeah, the offense is going to be fun. But they also don't have that, trying to use another word than aura, but they don't have this.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just go with reputation. I kind of agree with Louis Riddick and something he said on ESPN earlier this week, where he's like, I think we need to temper our expectations with the Niners. We just automatically think that because they have a last place schedule and they're healthy, then they're automatically going to be catapulted to the top of the NFC West and they're an automatic playoff team. He's like, as far as I'm concerned, they are literally rebuilding. They are rebuilding that defense. They don't have Dre Greenlaw anymore. Deebo Samuel, guys who established this identity of physicality. Like, I remember a couple of years ago, George Kittle doing a post game on Thursday Night Football. It was, when it felt like they were unstoppable, both offense and defense. He basically said, look, we're going to be more physical than you are. And the other teams have to match that. Like, we are going to be the ones putting fear in teams, and they're going to have to respond. Like, that's just how it is. It's that simple. You can break it down to X's and O's. You can talk about scheme fits and whether a defensive coordinator is going to have the edge over Kyle Shanahan. But in reality, we were more physical than they were. And that's just how it's always been. And they don't really have that right now. They have to build that back up, I think. He basically said, I don't think teams fear the 49ers like they used to with Deebo. He's like, say all you want, but teams had to game plan for him. So I'm kind of agree with that. Like, I'm not saying it's all lost and they're never going to get it back. I just think they have to build that back up.
Yeah, but I think they can still establish that physicality with Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams and George Kittle. I think those guys are still there. Just because Deebo's
offense.
not there.
That's offense. I'm talking defense.
No, but you just said like they established physicality with Deebo and guys like that.
Sure, but I'm talking defense more or less, though. Riddick was bringing up the Deebo thing. I'm talking about defense.
They still have Nick Bosa, and I know that people don't like the sack numbers since he signed the contract, but he's still a dominant presence in that defensive line.
He's a good presence. I don't know, though. He's kind of regressed a little bit. Like, I'm not even looking at the numbers. I'm just looking at even just his game-by-game output. Like, just watching him, it doesn't feel like he's getting into the backfield as quick as he used to.
And the injuries, but yes, he does need to take it up another level. You might be right defensively. They still have Fred Warner, who, for my money, is, you could say Roquan Smith or Zach Bond at this point, but yeah, he's one of the best linebackers of football, top 3 maybe. Yes, they're going to have to establish a physicality on defense. I think Robert Saleh will probably bring that back and, bring that mentality back with them. When he's, flexing his muscles and screaming on the sidelines and doing everything like he used to back in the day when it was 2019. But I still think the 49ers are going to be feared just based off of Kyle Shanahan. I do. I know that people downplay this whole thing of Kyle Shanahan's not that great. It's not that, I'd rather have him as a leader of men and a cerebral offensive mind than a lot of coaches in football. I do value the guys like the McVay cachet, if you will, where guys that are leaders of men that could galvanize a locker room and can still scheme it up X's and O's wise. That's where I think like Mike McDaniel's lacking that, where he's very smart with his play calling, but you hear all the issues he has with the veteran players like Jalen Ramsey and whoever else. Where Sean McVay, you hear him in the speeches before a Super Bowl, and he's like, Aaron Donald, I need you. Like he goes to the defensive players and gets a rise out of them, where Mike McDaniel doesn't get that. Like Kyle Shanahan goes to Nick Bosa every Thursday or Friday before they play a game. And he's like, you're not fucking doing enough. And Bosa's like, oh, damn, you're talking about me? Like, yeah, like that. They know how to push the buttons. I think Matt LaFleur does. I think Sean McVay does. I think Kyle Shanahan does. I don't think Mike McDaniel does. Regardless of all that, Kyle Shanahan being on the 49ers is still an advantage that I think most teams would love to have in this league.
Sure. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I don't disagree, but a lot of his game is going to be predicated too on yards after the catch. I just don't think it's going to be the same.
It's not going to be the same. They're going to have to do it different ways. I think that you may see McCaffrey more used more in different aspects of the offense, where he always was great catching passes out of the backfield, but he may have to do that more as the Deebo role. And you may see Isaac Orendo as the true I-form running back in between the tackles on the goal line. Who knows? They may switch it up. It may be a totally different offense. It may be more of the same. But I do trust that Kyle Shanahan will get in the right direction. And I do think that the schedule is extremely favorable. I think that they'll be tested in the division. I don't think they'll be tested as far as the best teams in the NFC. That's just the one question mark I have is if they go to the postseason and they play these upper echelon teams, how are they going to look? But as far as the regular season, I know there's teams that could be on the rise, and the Jaguars and Falcons, Colts, all these teams that they're playing on national TV that I don't know why the hell they scheduled that way. But I do favor the Niners just based off of reputation. I do.
I just don't know if it's the same. Like, I
Okay.
really don't. I
All
mean,
right.
it's we're gonna have to see it. Like I guess I don't see it right now. Like right now, I'm willing to again like take it into the regular season and see what they look like week 1. Like if it looks the same as it did, against the Steelers as it did a couple of years ago, where the Steelers, pretty damn good defensively, just looked overwhelmed, then yeah, okay, I'm willing to concede. Okay, maybe that was wrong, but I'm kind of with Riddick on that, in that they're rebuilding in a lot of places, in a lot of spots.
Yeah, but you can't have a competitive rebuild. I do believe that.
Sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks, but I think as long as you have the right guys still there, I think that you can. Are they going to be as dominant as they were in years past? No, I don't
Yeah.
think that. But I think their schedule is so favorable that I wouldn't be surprised if they have the number 1 seed in the NFC. Are they going to go to the Super Bowl? I don't know about that. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yep. As far as other things that happened, we were talking about Shamar Stewart. He finally is caved the right word? Probably not, because like in business, like, you get a little bit, I get a little bit, you definitely have to make, ultimatums or, could come to mutual decisions. And in the end, he gets his fully guaranteed contract for, a rookie 4 years. He did end up signing the language in the contract that he did not like, where if anything happened to him off the field, then Bengals could get out of it, which I think is fair.
I wonder there, Derek, sorry to cut you off. I'm
Go for it.
really curious though. Like, did he know what the language was in the contract? Do you think like his agent told him one thing and he just didn't understand it?
I think that he got bad advice from his agent. It sounds like his agent is really young and trying to make a name for himself, kind of a brash, hotshot agent. And Shamar Stewart was going with the flow. But when it got back to the media that it was like, oh, so he doesn't want to lose money if he gets arrested. Well, how does that make him look?
Yeah.
And I saw like the other day, Ty Schmidt on the Pat McAfee show was like, so you think he told the Bengals he's planning on robbing a bank in the future? And they're like, well, we're not going to give you this money then. Like, it makes him look bad. So I think now after a week and a half at training camp, he's like, yeah, now no one's on my side. I might as well just sign this. And they made it worth his while. They gave him like a couple of extra Ks from a signing bonus that he probably would have got later on the season. He gets it now. So everybody's happy, I guess. No one's really happy when you make these decisions or these agreements and contracts. But bottom line is, I kind of agree with the Bengals on this situation, not the Trey Hendrickson thing. But I do agree with them where it's like, if you do get popped and you're suspended, then why should I pay you?
If his name, or if he doesn't perform like that of a first round pick, it's the same as that dude who got drafted by the Utah Jazz, Ace Bailey, who made a whole stink of getting drafted to Utah. And there was that whole dilemma where it's like, I don't want these top 6 teams to pick me, but I want to go here, blah, blah, blah. He was basically choosing his own destination. Like, if he doesn't play well, then that's instantly going to come back to bite him. And even though it seemed like Shamar Stewart was in the right at first, like, he better perform, because there's going to be a microscope put on him now. And it's going to be whatever mistakes he makes, they're going to be magnified times 20 just because of what happened. And like, we're already seeing it. I literally, dude, as you were talking, I searched up Shamar Stewart in a Twitter search bar, and there's already things about him going one-on-one and how much work that he needs. Like this slow reps, the Bengals already putting 2 or 3 guys on him. It seems like just to teach him a lesson for holding out of training camp.
That's rough.
Like it's only going to get worse before it gets better, in my opinion. Not great.
Yeah, well, you didn't get any reps during OTAs either, so he's way behind the 8 ball.
Yes, he is.
So yeah, he may be off to a rough season just based off of, not getting his feet underneath him and not, practicing with other rookies. So yeah, it may be an uphill climb for him, but yeah, it sounds like he got bad advice. That's the bottom line on that one. As far as other contract holdouts, Terry McLaurin showed up today.
How
I
about
did
that?
not get a new contract, but this is the typical thing now where players don't want to be fined every single day, and I don't blame them. So Terry McLaurin showed up and said, I got an ankle injury. And they're like, all right, I'll put you on PUP, which probably will make things go a little quicker and smoother towards a contract. But then again, Micah Parsons, we didn't say it the other day, but he says he has a back issue now. So he's on PUP and won't be practicing with the Cowboys. This is just their way to be like, I'm here and I'm around the coaches and general manager and owner every day. So if you want to do business, let's talk. But I'm here. I'm going to be in the meetings. I'm talking to my teammates. I am here. But if you really want me here, then pay me.
Right. And I don't know why. I don't know what the holdup is. Weren't the Commanders the teams going into free agency with one of the highest amounts of cap spaces, like among the NFL?
Adam Peters learned from Sean Lynch. I don't know if the Niners really value paying wide receivers. You saw the hesitancy for them to pay Brandon Ayuk, and in the end, they did it because, as Kyle Shanahan told Tim Kawakami, you were so close. They pushed the reset. Like, that's what they really wanted to do was last offseason is kind of reset a little bit. But because they were so close to winning a Super Bowl, they were like, fuck it, pay Ayuk. And it was really Kyle telling John that at the very end. Like at the very last hour when he was on the phone with Omar Khan, going to send him to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think they have the same philosophy. I don't think that the Niners have the philosophy of paying wide receivers a shit ton of money because I think Kyle thinks he can get the best out of wide receivers with anybody, really. And we're going to see that probably in the first 4 weeks of the season when you have Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall. And it's probably somebody else, maybe Jacob Cowing, who knows, whoever's healthy. But I think that maybe Adam Peters is in the same school of thought where, yeah, okay, but do I really want to pay? Like, I'm going to have to pay Jaden Daniels in 2 seasons, probably 65 to 68 to maybe even 70 million a year. And that's going to get costly. But also, we talked about it, like the cap has gone up so much. Like you could pay a lot of these guys now. You could pay your quarterback $50 million a year. You could pay your wide receivers $30 million a year. You could pay your defensive players $20 million a year. It's just going to cost you. And in the end, you're going to have a short window and you have to capitalize on that. But you can do it. It's just a matter of, is that your philosophy? So given the here and now, yeah, I do think that the Commanders should sign Terry McLaurin. I do think he's worth it. He's their number one guy. He caught 13 touchdowns for them a year ago, a career high. So, and I think he's better than Garrett Wilson at this point. And if they want to be a Super Bowl team, they need him. Yeah. So do it. And then, 2 years down the line, if you have to pay Jaden Daniels a shit ton of money, you could cut him or trade him.
Yeah, sure. But I also, and you mentioned that name. I think it's all about maximizing what Jaden Daniels can do this year. And if you want to avoid the sophomore slump, I don't know how constructive it would be to not pay Scary Terry when all you got is Debo, Luke McCaffrey, and Noah Brown projected as your top 3 receivers.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you can go into the season justifying that.
And Luke McCaffrey, don't forget about him.
I just said that.
Oh, did you? My bad.
Yeah. Like, I mean, okay. Like, he's good, but is he a true number one? Like, you do need a number one receiver to win you some games. And Cliff Kingsbury is not Kyle Shanahan. So I think I don't pay him. I
don't even know if, sorry to cut you off. I don't even know if Debo's a number one anymore. I think he's a good complimentary guy.
Yeah. I mean, well, he again, I think he gives defenses something to think about. Like, does he run the best routes? No. Is he the fastest guy out there? No. But when they do get the ball in his hands, he's still one of the hardest guys to bring down in the NFL. I still think that. So there is some value there. But you also need just the dynamic wide receiver who can do a bit of everything. And Scary Terry's been that guy.
Yeah. I do think Debo's going to be perfect for Kingsbury's offense, but to rely on him as a number one, no.
No, you can't do that. You just can't. Like it's no fault to Debo. It's just a number one receiver has to have a different skill set than he does.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he has to be a guy where it happens out of nowhere. Like if they're in the middle of the game and they're in the third quarter and, Terry McLaurin had a monster first half and it feels like you got to focus on him because he's part of the game plan. Then out of nowhere, you see a Debo lining up in the backfield and they throw a swing pass to him and he has a bunch of wide open space and he's damn near impossible to tackle. So I think I don't know what the holdup is, really. I know you said that Adam Peters comes from that John Lynch school of thought, but that still doesn't justify. How have you not paid him yet?
Yeah, I mean, I get the holdup with the old brass of the Bengals and the Cowboys and just how they're, how hard-headed their ownership is. But with the way the Commanders are run these days, I mean, you see they changed their whole locker room because of the bad press they were getting with the report cards. Yeah, brand new, luxurious locker rooms. So they care what people say about them. I am surprised that the Commanders haven't cut some coin for Terry McLaurin at this point.
Just do it. Just get it done.
Yeah, and your quarterback, he's on a rookie deal. Yeah, I would maximize the potential right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of which, transitioning to the NBA, latest stuff with Kuminga. Is anything really changed? Like I know, like people are talking about it. 95.7 went in on it. JD went in on it when he was filling in for my pops with Krug. And, I read everything from Anthony Slater and Shams Charania. So basically the latest is that Kuminga is in no rush to sign his offer sheet from the Warriors. And the Kings and Suns are offering him a starting role on their team. And it's the same trade offer from the Kings. Don't know what the trade offer is from the Suns, but both are lackluster for the Warriors' liking. To me, there's nothing new here. This is just Aaron Turner. We worked with an Aaron Turner back in the day, right?
Aaron.
Aaron. But this is the agent for Jonathan Kuminga. This is him just kind of putting pressure on the Warriors to be like, he doesn't want to play for you guys. Like, we have legitimate offers from teams that want to use him for what he's worth. Now, money-wise, no. But he wants to get, he wants playing time. That's what he values the most. So I don't think this is anything new. Also, Anthony Slater wrote this now with ESPN, saying that Steve Kerr has been the leading voice to try to mend fences with Kuminga. And I don't know how Jonathan Kuminga, I mean, I could guess that Jonathan Kuminga still doesn't trust Steve Kerr. Everything I read is just Jonathan Kuminga wants to leave and wants to start and wants to play for the Kings or the Suns because they will actually start him. But as far as like anything significant, he has till October 1st to sign the offer sheet, so he's probably going to take a sweet-ass time. I don't know how much this is holding up the Warriors to do anything else. I mean, like Al Horford, he's doing his own thing at this point. The Anthony Melton rumors, they could do that, I guess, as well. But I really don't know. Like, I think this is just Mike Dunleavy and Joe Lacob and Steve Kerr doing their due diligence to check the box off on Kuminga, then handle everything else off. But, yeah, it's getting annoying, but I don't think anything's new here with Kuminga.
No, nothing's new. I just think the only thing that's changed is his time.
Yeah.
That's all that's changed. I mean, we're going on a month here of free agency, and they're still super far apart. It's funny listening to Shams just repeat himself over and over again, acting like he has something earth-shattering.
I know.
On ESPN. It's just Kuminga, a restricted free agent, wants more playing time. He wants more to be more of a starring role, and he's not going to get that from the Warriors. So they could either do this and that. And I've heard that like 7 or 8 different times from him on some random Sports Center update. There is nothing new here. There is nothing new.
Yep.
My opinion on it hasn't changed. I just think that he needs to come to grips with the fact that he doesn't have any leverage. Like that's the thing that I feel like, I'm not going to say anything's changed. I guess that's not the term, but one thing that has kind of surprised me a bit is that Kuminga clearly still thinks he has some leverage in this situation when really he doesn't. He could test the market, sure, but it's the Warriors who hold the rights to his contract. So he can do whatever he wants. But at the end of the day, like the Warriors are going to be the ones deciding, like, okay, are you either going to sign with us or are you going to manage to get a team to cough up enough so that we could sign and trade you? Or are you willing to take this reasonable contract offer, say that this has already been a wasted season? And you know what, the rejection, the contract extension rejection thing, that's been a talking point. I know Bonte went in there and said like that the 30-ish million a year is not true.
Yeah.
But regardless, he still rejected a contract offer. Like, he still rejected that. So he mishandled it in that way if he's not feeling he was worth whatever they were giving. And I bet you they were giving him a reasonable amount, like,
Yeah.
for what his production was.
I'm
So-
sure it was more than what teams are offering him right now.
Yeah, for sure. But for whatever reason, he thinks he has leverage in this situation when he doesn't.
No, he does not. And he's not a unrestricted free agent, but he's kind of playing it like he is.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like,
what
what do you think? You're holding up the Warriors from signing Melton and Horford? I don't think anyone's exactly in a race to go sign those two guys. I think those guys are going to be available for a long time.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I do want to get that done already. Like, the more that prolongs gets me a little worried that that's not going to happen. And they do need to add more guys than just Kuminga.
Yeah, sure. But I don't think anyone's going to be I'm not in a rush personally, because we still got months until training camp. So, a month really through August, a little bit of September.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they go to training camp like the third week of the NFL season. So, and he doesn't have to sign anything until October 1st. What was the qualifying offer again? It was like $10.7 million for Kuminga?
7.6.
7.6. So he's pissed. He's missing out on what he could have signed for with the Warriors already at this point. And nobody's giving him that significant of an offer. There's still like these rumors out there that he wants 15. It's like, dude, just because you flashed in some playoff games, the league is spoken and they don't care that as much as you do. So I think the way this plays out ultimately is either the Kings up their offer and include somebody of significance, Malik Monk or Keegan Murray, and the Suns do, or this just goes up until October 1st and Kuminga begrudgingly signs the qualifying offer.
Yeah.
And Mike Dunleavy gives him assurances that we're going to try to trade you at the deadline. We want you to be a factor on this team for a little bit of time. And if you're not happy, then we'll move on.
Yeah. It's funny that you kind of mentioned that the league is kind of telling you that he's not as valuable as everyone may think. I mean, you go to the Christian Wilkins thing. Hell, you can go all the way back to the Carlos Correa thing and why he just went back to the Twins. Like, the Giants, it was a mess, no doubt.
Yeah.
Like, getting him ready for a press conference and then essentially saying no because of the injury. Well, that also happened with other teams too, right? So, like, the league is telling you that maybe the Giants made the right decision there. With Christian Wilkins, the league is telling you if he's not been signed immediately, they're telling you, oh, that injury is a big time injury and he's probably not going to be playing for a little bit, if not missing the entirety of the season.
Right.
This Kuminga thing, if no team has been willing to give up a young player who has a high ceiling, along with a first round draft pick, which is what the Warriors wanted reportedly, then I think that's telling you the league doesn't find him all that valuable. Because I think if you have a player like this who's out there, who is disgruntled and who you can get in a trade, if no one has made an offer that's sizable enough, and really, I don't think a young player in a first round pick is like too much to ask if you feel like your team's in contention, and no one's offered it yet.
No, and I don't want to do bad business. Like, I want to get the max I can from Kuminga in a trade. And right now, from what the Kings are offering with, who is it, Dale Carter? I don't even know his name. And Dario Saric and like a protected first round pick, that's not enough. I'm sorry, but that's not good enough. So I understand holding on to him and still trying to get the best. But as you have put it numerous times, Steven, they should have traded him a long time ago. I would have traded him last trade deadline once you acquired Jimmy Butler. I know that maybe his value wasn't as high because of the injury, but still, it was redundant to have him. And then I would traded him well before that too. There's also a part of me, though, that just is tired of all this. And if it's clear that he doesn't want to be with the Warriors anymore. So my thought process is just trade him. But if you're not getting good value for him, then that's just a waste. So I'm conflicted because I'm so tired of this story. And it feels like Kuminga's holding the franchise hostage when really his contributions to the team are so minuscule that why are we putting up with this shit?
Yeah.
So, and plus, like, we really want to deal with Kuminga, the diva, in the last 2 years of Steph Curry with the Warriors. This is insane. But I do understand good business at the end of the day, and Mike Dunleavy doesn't want to lose that on a trade. So wait, but there is a part of me as a fan that's like, God, this is such bullshit.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it might be the same as we've always said, where they signed him to a contract that's tradable.
Same as it ever was.
And same as it ever was.
Yep.
Same as it ever was.
They don't say it, they just say it.
Same as it ever was. Or you just trade him at the deadline.
Why are you singing that? You just gotta say it like what's his name? Who's the lead singer of Talking Heads?
David Byrne.
David Byrne. Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was.
It's a lot better than whatever you're spewing right now. What is that?
That's how he sings. He just
No, it's
says
not,
it.
dude. Don't you disrespect David Byrne like that.
I have immense respect for David Byrne, but it's not like he sings that part. He just says it.
He does. He has a little sing-song to it, Derek.
Yeah, kind of like Sinatra a little bit.
Same as it ever was.
He doesn't sing it.
Same as it ever was.
All right. Giants. Want to go
You might
here?
find a shotgun shell in a car rack.
Now you're turning him into Sean Connery. Good Lord. This isn't my beautiful life. This isn't my beautiful wife. You're mucking with a real G here.
Once in a lifetime.
There you go. Quickly, boys, get on my back. Let's talk a little baseball. The Giants have lost 2 in a row to the New York Mets right before we get to the trade deadline. And that's not even the worst news. The worst news is Landon Roop landed on the 15-day IL with elbow inflammation on his throwing hand. So that's not good when he's your third starter and the third guy you're most comfortable with in the starting rotation. And it's crazy how it's gone from feeling so good about the starting rotation for the Giants to now being like, ugh, you definitely got to make a move now. You had to make a move before with Hayden Birdsong being sent to the minors, but you definitely got to make a move now.
Yeah.
And now it would have been nice. I'm not saying you don't do the Rafael Devers trade, but you definitely would want Jordan Hicks right now. You definitely would want Kyle Harrison on the team right now. No? Really?
If it's for the sake of just filling up spots.
But it's definitely out of desperation right now, yes.
Sure, but they're not that good.
I know. Like, I'm not saying this stops you from doing the Rafael Devers trade. By all means, God, yes, you do this. But now you wish you had at least some capable bodies.
Were they that capable? No, I don't. I really don't.
Well, they can't go on with the rest of the season like this, Steven.
No, totally. I mean, but I don't miss Jordan. I'd rather be in this situation right now than just with 2 arms. I don't need just arms. I need arms that are good.
Well, would you say now though you're beggars at the deadline for a arm? Any arm?
So.
Give me a goddamn arm.
Yeah, I think so.
I'll take the one-armed man for the fugitive.
I absolutely think so. I think this really increases the pressure for Posey to go out and get someone. My personal get. I would want Sandy Alcantara, but he hasn't really been linked to the Giants, and he has an over 7 ERA. So I don't know. Nice. It could just be a thing with Miami. But my number one guy would be for them to go get Mitch Keller from the Pirates. He's been on the up and up for a while. I don't even remember back in 2023 when I was rounding up my fantasy baseball team and I was looking at top guys who could be performers in fantasy. Jeff Passan listed Mitch Keller as one of those guys, and he's only gotten better and better. I think he has a sub-4 ERA. He throws hard. He strikes out a lot of guys. I think he brings something different than what the Giants rotation has seen this year. So if I had a pick, it would be him. And yeah, they do need arms. I think Felix Bautista from the Orioles is also up for grabs too. He just came back from Tommy John, but is looking like his old self. I mean, yes, this does create some urgency, but I don't look back and say, God, I wish Jordan Hicks and Kyle Harrison were on this team right now. I just don't.
Yeah, I totally get that. What about Zach Littell? His name was thrown out there by Jeff Passan on Friday.
I really don't know. I'm inclined to just say Zach Littell, but I haven't really watched him this season, so I can't comment on that. I wish I could.
Fair enough.
I'm going to pull a Tom Tolbert. I just don't know.
No, that's totally fair. What about I'll throw some names out there that I've been throwing out.
Mhm.
What about Tyler Anderson, who was a Giant, I think, to the 2020 season? No, not a fan.
I'm good off Tyler Anderson. I'm good.
Okay. What about his ERA is not great either. Zach Eflin.
I don't know. I'm open to that, I guess.
Okay. All right. What about this one? This one's a little crazy by me.
Look at you listing off these
I know, dude.
fairly
I know.
obscure baseball names. This is great.
I know. Well, I'm looking at expiring
You play this
contracts.
game the rest of the podcast. Let's go. Just you list off players and I'll say yes or no. This is
Okay.
awesome.
I got two more. Okay. What do you think about John Gray with the Rangers? They're like hovering at 500. He's coming back from, I think it was a broken wrist during spring training.
Mhm.
He's done some games in the minors. He's set to come back for the Rangers, but you get him really low right now given the injury.
Yeah, I'd be in on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be.
You're not worried. You're not worried about potentially him being injury prone now.
Nah, no, not in the second half of the season.
Okay. All right. And then as far as offense, I mean, I talked to Copes about this on Friday. He's like, you definitely need, we asked JT too. I'm like, besides pitching, where would you go? And he goes, pitching. You need to get pitching right now. And I'm like, I understand they need pitching. It's out of desperation, but let's not act like the offense is fixed. Like, God, you see the last two nights? This team, they are, as Lauren in the chat has told me, they are dog shit with runners in scoring position. They are just abysmal. What is it? The last two nights, they're 0 for 16?
Yeah.
It's terrible. So, and they're going to try to make it work with a lot of the guys that they signed. They're going to try to make it work with, they have to make it work with Devers. They have to make it work with Willie Adames. They have to make it work with Matt Chapman and Jung-Hoo Lee. Jung-Hoo Lee, by the way, should have got a home run last night in the dog pool that we have at KMBR, but every other ballpark in America, he gets a home run. Not the case at Oracle Park. Regardless, you got to do something offensively at the deadline. So what about my man from back in the day with the A's, Ramon Liriano? I think he has like 41 RBIs on the season, 14 home runs.
Yeah, I'd be in on that.
Yeah.
I'd be in on that. You'd probably have to give up like Yastrzemski, who I'm willing to part ways with at this point. Maybe even Wilmer Flores. I don't know who else, but I'd be in on that.
See, I threw that out there, but I think at this point, with expiring contracts, wouldn't you just give up prospects as opposed to established players? Like
Sure.
you have to make it a win-win when you're doing a trade.
Sure. And another one I'd be interested in would be Adolis Garcia from the Rangers. Plus defender, hasn't hit well at all this year, really. And it seems like the Rangers could give him up. I mean, he's huge. Like I think he'd shore up that outfield. So if you're going to give me like a hitter, I think that'd be like my number one realistic option. There's a lot of them out there. I mean, even Eugenio Suarez was linked to the Giants at one, not linked to the Giants, but since he's the top guy, like he's considered a fit for the Giants if they need it. But I want them to get an outfielder and one with a better shoot, man. Has this been a talk of KMBR at all?
What?
Throwing Elliot Ramos in a trade?
No. Why would you do that?
He's been, I think it'd be putting it nicely to say he's been a subpar left fielder. Hitting wise, it feels like he's on the other side of runners in scoring position a lot, where he just Ks to end the inning. Great vibes guy. I love this guy. I do. I'd love to keep him on the team. But if you're going to get someone of value, you're probably going to have to give something up more than prospects. The Giants don't have a lot of prospects right now. And I was just wondering if that's been a talk of KMBR at all, because he hasn't been playing well. He hasn't been playing some good baseball lately.
That has not been brought up, and I would be very hesitant to do that just because I understand that he hasn't played well of late. And yes, he has been piss poor in left field, but I would not move off of him just yet like that.
Yeah.
And I totally get what you're saying, but at the same time, that's a massive sell move. Like, you're not selling in that situation, but I don't know. I think you can make, like, I'm not looking for them to be aggressively making a trade at the deadline that's reminiscent of Rafael Devers. What they need to do is get just a bat and an arm to help them out and do an expiring contract to make sure you just get to the playoffs this season. That's all that you need to do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that they should trade him, but I was more wondering if that's been the talk in the sports talk world lately, because I haven't really paid attention too much to it.
Well, why do you want them to make like another big time move? Because that's what you would have to do in order to get somebody.
I'm kind of leaning that way.
I would not trade Elliot Ramos. I
I
would
don't
not.
know. I'm not saying I would,
Okay.
but I'm just thinking of names that would be involved in one. And I was wondering if Elliot Ramos has been brought up because he has been just abysmal in left field.
He has.
Like
Unless-
statistically, it's the advanced stats all say it. He has the worst arm, at least in terms of how hard he can actually throw the ball. Like Jung-Hoo Lee throws it harder than anyone in that outfield, and he has the best arm. Well, actually, Luis Matos does, but Luis Matos isn't an everyday player. If you're going particularly from that, like Matos, Jung-Hoo Lee, and Mike Yastrzemski all have stronger arms than Ramos does.
Yeah.
And he's your superstar. He's the all-star. So I'm just wondering if if his name was brought up. I'm not saying they should, because you'd probably have to get like a superstar name if you're gonna trade that. Even more than Adolis Garcia. Like that wouldn't be worth it because, you know, Elliot Ramos still has some upside and still has age, but I'm just wondering if that was brought up.
I wouldn't even trade Brent Rooker for Elliot Ramos. Like I want to trade. Maybe I would trade Ronald Acuna for. I mean, like no one's off the table.
Ronald Acuna.
Yeah, I know.
God, yeah, you come on, man.
Well, of course you would. Like no one's off the table. Like Bryce Eldridge's name has been brought up since Rafael Devers has gone to first base, but like no, I wouldn't do that just yet.
Yeah,
like I hang on that potential, and from what I've seen and what JT Snow talks about, Bryce Eldridge is fucking just mashing right now in
nice.
AAA.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So he hit like a walk-off the other day, but I don't really pay attention to that stuff because I don't care. Like once you get to the majors, that's what I focus on. But yeah, I would say that you're not going to see major moves for the Giants. I would say they just need to get a bat in an arm, and I think they'll be in a good spot. Are they going to win the NL West? Probably not. They're most likely going to be a wild card team, but that's what the goal should be.
Have you seen that latest trade rumor that was just posed by a guy from The Athletic? I think it was Zach Reimer, who's a great writer. I've known him forever. I think he writes for Yahoo now.
Did not.
Or does he write for Yahoo? No, he writes for Bleacher Report. He had a bold trade idea for every team, and one of them is acquiring Adley Rutschman, the catcher from the Orioles.
For the Giants?
Yeah.
I know that fans...
Total long shot.
Yeah, I know. I know that fans hate the offense of Patrick Bailey, and he'll be remembered for the inside the park home run a couple weeks ago. But I don't think Buster Posey's doing anything with that this trade deadline. I really don't. I think Patrick Bailey's his guy for the rest of the season.
Yeah, probably. I'm just throwing it out there as the big one.
Dude, I know. And you know what's hard? Like I throw out these big trades, and like baseball is so not glamorous like that, where you throw this out there. Like, yeah, that works for the Dodgers. That works for the Yankees. I don't know what's realistic. Like Seth Lugo is like another big name. But then again, like do the Giants have the trade assets that the Dodgers or the Yankees have? Nor do they even have the cachet that a Brian Cashman or Andrew Friedman have. Like I know Buster Posey pulled off the Rafael Devers trade, but that was because he skipped to the front of the line and had conversations with the GM behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. It was the only one getting in on that. If it's like a whole 30-team bid for a player, does Buster Posey and Zach Manassium have the charisma to pull off trades like the Yankees and the Dodgers do?
Yeah. I don't know. And the three contracts you would trade, and I don't think this third guy's worth getting rid of, but it is Yastrzemski, Flores, and Tyler Rogers.
Tyler Rogers. What about do you have any qualms about trading away Marco Luciano or Luis Matos at this point?
No, I wish I did, but I don't.
Yeah.
I wish I did. And that's because I had a buddy working in Arizona, and he's just, he was really high on Matos. He's like, dude, just watch out for this guy. Watch out for Vaughn Brown too. He had me high on Vaughn Brown. I was on the Vaughn Brown hype train early, and then that guy.
Vaughn Browntown.
Yeah, I was on the Brown. I was on my way to Browntown.
Love Dallas.
But yeah, I wouldn't have any qualms about them trading those guys. I wish, but I don't know what like if Matos is only going to hit, 180 in the major leagues while giving him some pop and a great arm in the outfield, I wouldn't have any qualms about that. No.
Yep. All right. Switching over to the A's for a second. I know we usually don't talk about the A's because fuck the organization and fuck John Fisher. But I'll gladly talk about the team. I mean, I have no issue with the team. They obviously are going through it right now, and I feel bad for everybody. But they have a young and talented team that probably will be good in the next couple of years here. And Nick Kurtz, good Lord, dude. Is this the best stat line you've ever seen in a Major League Baseball game? 6 for 6, 4 home runs, 8 RBIs in one night on Friday night against the Astros.
It's up there.
Just unconscious. Just a sick game against the division-leading Astros, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they're leading the division right now.
Yep.
That's insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, man. He has that Matt Olson flair to him where he just winds up and he just lets it rip. It was crazy, his numbers through the minor. Like, that's the thing about this is we're all about in the minor leagues slow playing it, right? Develop, don't rush it. Like the Eldridge thing. Why are you calling him up now? Don't rush it. Well, with Nick Kurtz, they fast-tracked his ass. They said single A, nah. Double A, nah. Triple A, all right, we'll put him in Triple A. Big league club, yeah, he's ready. And he does this. Now he's hitting over 300. Like that's what makes this even more shocking, I guess, Derek, is like, looking up greatest stat lines in history. If you just take the context of it, I think if you're looking at where this guy was at the start of 2024, which was in the minors, to where he is now, which is starting with the big league club and then hitting 4 runs in the process. Yeah, with him, Jacob Wilson, Shea Langoliers is a solid catcher. Obviously, they got Lawrence Butler out there. Denzel Clark makes flashy plays, but he doesn't hit. I don't know how much of a long-term player he's going to be. We've seen great defenders all the time, but they can get moved and they have some value. I don't know if he's going to have some staying power. Obviously, Brent Rooker signed that long-term deal too. Yeah, they got good young talent, and Nick Kurtz is a part of that. That was insane. He's doing it everywhere too.
Yeah.
Just like opposite field, spraying it everywhere. Just nuts.
No, absolutely nuts. And it's funny that Friday night the talk was Nick Kurtz goes crazy in a game. And then I don't want to make fun of him too much because he's a young kid. And God knows that I have my troubles on the mic sometimes. Did you see the play-by-play guy for the A's? What's his name? Chip Carey's son? You're muted.
No. My mic. He was doing so well.
I know it was. That damn cable.
Here we go. It's good. We're moving it. We're moving.
You good?
Moving.
Yeah.
All right. We are moved. I'm going to check. Yeah. Keep going. What's up?
I was going to say, who is the, it's Chip Carey's son.
Chris Carey.
Chris Carey. Do you have the call real quick? I know I didn't send it to you, but this is just too good. I'm sorry. Like, it's clearly a home run. Like, he just annihilates the ball in center field.
Yeah. But he said he lost it in the lights.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, that's unfortunate. Because nothing's better than a good home run call. But like for the podcast audience, this home run is right down in center field, and somehow he thinks it's foul.
1-2 pitch, high in the air, deep to right. That ball is foul or gone.
That ball was absolutely launched.
Dallas to save the day, man.
Yeah, he normally has to on that broadcast, But look, man.
Oh,
well, he does. I mean, come on. We've seen it.
Yeah, I know.
But not with Chris too much. I mean, that sucks. That's on his part. That sucks. I'm not gonna make fun of that guy because my heart dropped for him when I heard that, because I've had that happen where you're just, especially when you got only so much time. Like, see, the thing with sports talk radio, you can say things, but you also have time to kind of regroup. If you have like a brain fart, you say, hang on, I lost my train of thought. I need to get it back. like we have that ability on the podcast, but when doing live stuff like that, where it's right away, oh, the brain fart is the worst. I've had that on KCBS a lot, where I just I'm in the middle of something, and I might be ad-libbing at the end, and then I just totally forget like what time a game is, or when I didn't write it down, or something along those lines, and you're just like, oh no. Like,
Yep.
it's awful, man.
Happens to me all the time. And you just kind of laugh it off, or you're the brunt of the joke for, pretty much the
Right.
whole show. But
Yeah.
whatever. That's kind of sports talk radio. When you're a play-by-play guy, I mean, like Dwayne Kuiper, I was watching last night, and his voice kind of cracked out at one point where he was like saying something like, back with Luis Matos.
Yeah.
And it just sounded weird. And of course, Kuiper made fun of him, but he's a legend. That's unfortunate for Chris Carey. And, he's a young kid. He'll have other great calls. Just, it's bad when you're a young kid and you kind of have like a John Sterling moment.
Sure. But he took it. The John Sterling one is not nearly as bad, or this one is not nearly as bad as the John Sterling one.
Yeah, but John Sterling is also like an 80-year-old man.
Yeah, sure. I guess so.
And he was watching the game off a monitor, right?
Hey, look, man, the guy took accountability. Like, that's all you can ask. He responded to that post. Chris Carey did. And I don't know. There's nothing, there's no, I got nothing bad to say about that one. Because, oh my gosh, that also brings you that. I think that's also an example, though, of how challenging that job can be. Like, you could be perfect throughout, but then there's just one little thing that's going to get people to know you, get people to hear your name. It's going to get shared by awful announcing. It's going to make the rounds. Like, I don't envy that, but it also gives you like an idea of how good these play-by-play guys are and just how, flawless they're able to do their job on a nightly basis.
No, absolutely. But at the same time, like, I think we overblow awful announcing. Like, I don't think that makes or breaks people. I think that there's too much backlash for media personalities. But like, just because someone has a misspeak in awful announcing catches it, happens all the time.
Well, yeah, but Derek, that also, when it gets caught by awful announcing, it tends to make the rounds, and now that video has 2.3 million views.
Yeah, but you know what? I've seen worse. I've seen worse.
Totally. But it's still pretty bad when that picks it up, when that publication gets
but you know what? It's bad for a day.
Sure. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right, let's do a little jackass of the week. You got anything, Steven, before I do mine?
I do.
Yeah, go for it.
This is in the same family as that North Salinas high school track star who ended up getting her title stripped because of the celebration.
Yep, I remember. Yep.
This kind of made the rounds. It actually became a national story, but we are on the cusp here of the Little League World Series, so we're getting a lot of regional tournaments being played, and a lot of like state tournaments in the East Coast are fighting to represent the East in Pennsylvania, and teams here, and like I think there's one from San Mateo that's gone down to San Bernardino to compete to represent the West this year. So good luck to them. But there was a kid in New Jersey who's like 12 years old, and this was in the final game to get to the state tournament. This was the clincher, and he hit a 2-run home run to send his team to the New Jersey state title, right? A 2-run home run. Every kid dreams of that. And he was able to accomplish that at 12 years old. He bat flips on his way down to first base, throws his bat up in the air, flips it. No one in the vicinity except him. And he ends up getting ejected. And the umpires also suspend him for the opening game of the state tournament for a bat flip. They called it unsportsmanlike and horseplay. And
horseplay. Wow.
Yeah, that actually didn't happen this week. That was on the 16th of this month. This week, a judge made the decision on it because the family ended up filing this temporary restraining order to get the judge to lift the suspension.
Yeah.
Which ultimately did. So the kid's playing in it.
Good.
So I don't know if I should blame the umpires. I don't know if I should blame the set of rules. because I did this story on KCBS, and I had my supervisor text me saying, well, whose fault is it really? Because like they were calling out the hypocrisy of it, the
Yeah.
hypocrisy of how Major League Baseball really flaunts this for the pros, influencing the younger generation, like celebrating is a good thing. And my boss texted me and he said, is it the umpire's fault or is it just baseball's fault? Like whose fault is it? Because the umpires were just following the guidelines. And I'm saying the umpires need to get with the times here. Bat flipping isn't showing up an opponent. It's a form of celebration. Let the kids play. So I'm not going to say it on the air there, but I'm going to say those umpires were in the wrong. Jackass of the week for me. And also the best part about this is, Derek, 12-year-old from New Jersey. Do you know what his name is?
Sure, something Italian.
Marco Rocco.
Oh God, love it.
It's a great name.
Yeah, like even though was suspended and he's trying to live out his baseball career, that kid's growing up to be a bodyguard.
Something like that.
Hey,
Yeah.
Marco Rocco, get over here.
Or a New York Giants quarterback.
Yeah, maybe third string though. What are the rules in Little League? Like straight up, like if you bat flip, you are suspended and ejected automatically right then and there, no warning.
I guess not. I mean, they said that he did it before, and there was no penalty, no discipline. Umpires didn't do anything.
So how many times has this kid done this?
I don't know. I don't know the exact number of it, but I think these umpires were just taking a little too much of their power into their own hands and saying this kid needs to be suspended for one game. And I kind of get it from the umpire side because my dad would do that. My late father, he was big in umpiring, right? That's how.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
keep up with the Little League stuff. And there was one time, it was I was 13, 12 or 13. I might have been 12. I was 12, playing in the juniors, and my dad's umpiring a game. I'm watching the game. I was always down at the field, right? That's what I did as a kid. Always hung out pretty much every school day, just watching games. And there's one my dad was umpiring where a team was down like 6-1 in the last inning. And they ended up coming all the way back to tie it at 6-6. And with the bases loaded and maybe their best hitter going to the plate, my dad calls the game because of darkness. Because the sun was
spreading, everyone. Darkness is spreading.
Exactly. The sun was too far down. It was too dark. This was unsafe for the players. Got to call it. Got to postpone this. And we're going to go for the next. So I understand umpires following a strict set of rules. So I guess really my jackass of the week would be the rule makers for this. How about you refine them a little bit, adjust them?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like I was about to say, if I was the umpire, I would have taken the kid aside and be like, that's a warning. You do that again, and we're going to have some issues. But since he got that already, I don't know if you could blame the umpires. I do think it's the rules.
Yeah. So I guess the rule makers are the jackass of the week then.
Yeah, I have to go with that because at the end of the day, the umpires are just doing their job, which sucks, but they are doing their job. And by the way, I've always, I've met your father a few times, thick British accent. I always wondered when he ejected people, did he say, all right, jog on?
No, my favorite story of him, I wasn't there, but the guy who actually, funnily enough, Gary Williams, is that name familiar to you?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So he used to umpire around the Fremont district, the guy who did the Raiders PA.
Oh yeah. Legend.
Yeah. So he was telling, he came to my dad's little celebration of life that we had. And really it was not so much a funeral. We just had a bunch of people come up and tell stories. And one that I'd never heard before was, he made some call that parents disagreed with. Yeah. And I think the coach yelled as loud as he could, Jesus Christ. And then my dad said, that's a warning. And if you do that one more time, you are ejected on account of blasphemy. He said that in front of everyone. Great.
That's great. That's great,
man. So yeah, it's just when I saw that, just like let the kids play. Come on.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one. All right, a little pop culture catch up, Steven.
What about you? You got a jackass?
Oh, I didn't even do one. Yeah, I got one, and I got an honorable mention. Should I do the honorable mention first, or should I give the award out?
Go to the honorable mention.
Okay. Can you pull up Mike Greenberg for me real quick? I used to listen to Mike and Mike back in the day, going like right before I went to school all the time. Really enjoyed the show. But Mike Greenberg has turned into a caricature of what he used to be on ESPN. Like, it's just so hot takey and so ridiculous with some of his takes. And his Jets fandom is so nauseating at times, where I know like Rich Eisen will lean into it and have fun with it. Mike Greenberg, and this is like just not his fault, but also just NFL media. Like, when you see that Justin Fields is carted off from Jets practice, everybody's like, oh my God, he must have tore his Achilles. He must have tore his ACL. He must be done for the year. He must have broke his foot. What's going to happen now? When you're carted off the field in training camp, it could be for very minor things because the practice field is so far away from the actual facility. So when you see that, I think it's very, I don't know, like misleading of a lot of journalists to be like that, where they can elaborate and say like, I think they're just being precautious. But when, of course, it's the Jets and everyone thinks that they're cursed and they had Aaron Rodgers tear his Achilles 4 snaps into a season, that, of course, everyone's going to freak out from the first practice right away that Justin Fields is done for the season. So I understand people freaking out a little bit, but Mike Greenberg, acting like a professional, broadcaster that he is, on national TV, to act like Justin Fields was assassinated is absolutely ridiculous.
We're back on Get Up. I am speechless. I don't know how to put into words how frustrated I am to read to you what I'm about to read to you. From New York Jets training camp, quarterback Justin Fields has been carted off the field and taken to the locker room after being pressured on an incomplete pass. He has an apparent leg injury. He walked on his own power after getting back inside the facility. Our Jets reporter, Rich Cimini, is on the ground at Jets camp. He tweeted out a significant update, quote, Fields limps off the field after being pressured on an incomplete pass under the tent with a trainer. Adam Schefter is also saying Fields is now being carted off to the locker room. The tone of all of the tweets that I am seeing from the people who are there make it sound like this is something bad. And I turn to others to speak on my behalf, because quite candidly, if I were to speak right now, I don't know how well that would go for anyone. It is the first freaking day of practice, and Justin Fields, they're not even in pads, and Justin Fields is being carted off the field. As I have been touting all this time, this is going to go so well. The Jets are so much better than everybody thinks they're going to be. And all of a sudden, Justin Fields is being carted off the field at a practice. Who are you talking to over there? Kmart, get on the phone and find out what's happening.
Okay, stop it. That is so ridiculous. I'm sorry. Like, there's no playback music. It's so grim. They come into it like this is a special report from Get Up this morning, as we just learned that sources tell us that Justin Fields may have tweaked his toe, and we don't know the severity of it. And we're praying for him. There's roadside tributes to him and candle lights. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've seen. Like, no reaction, no gallows humor. Everyone's just standing there with their arms folded, being like, he could be dead. Yeah. This is the most ridiculous thing I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah, man. If you just crop Damian Woody out and you just put Kim Martin and Harry Douglas there, you would think someone's died. Like, if you take away the graphic too.
Yep.
Like, you would think someone's died, or they are it's like the look that I would get, from the higher ups, from the teachers in school if I get in trouble.
Exactly.
Like they're all the teachers, like take your pick of whoever's the principal and take your pick of whoever's the teachers. Like, they all look like they are trying to discipline you in some way, or maybe like Mike Greenberg is there trying to keep you out of trouble. I don't know. But it's like, what is that? Like, for a toe?
Yeah. And then later on, he's there the next day of practice. Like, oh, well, thank God that happened. Maybe.
But I do
almost lost my cool there.
I do like, because this is in the same vein as Dan Orlovsky when Cam Newton brought up the whole Fox Sports thing with Joey Taylor and his face when he's just trying to be serious into the camera. I like Kimberly Martin's switch here, you could tell she's trying to hold in some laughter as the camera goes to the 1 shot and then breaks out back to the 4 shot again. Can we just watch Kimberly Martin's faces? It's tremendous.
Absolutely.
Because quite candidly, if I were to speak right now, I don't know how well that would go for anyone. It is the first freaking day of practice, and Justin Fields, they're not even in pads, and Justin Fields is being carted off the field as I have been touting all this time. This is going to go so well. The Jets are so much better than everybody thinks they're going to be. And all of a sudden, Justin Fields is being carted off the field at a practice. Who are you talking to over there? Kmart, get on the phone and find out what's happening.
Yeah, Kmart, get on the phone.
Yeah, come on. You're doing nothing. Yeah, Mike Reber acting like Jack Loader when the Giants don't bring in a runner on third. Good Lord.
Hell yeah, Jack. I'm with you, brother.
No. And you brought up Cam Newton. Honorable mention as well. Cam, if you're going to be in media, like you have to calm down a little bit. Like him going after Ryan Clark and Dan Orlovsky. Did you see this? Because he's comparing his career to Jalen Hurts. You like it's not about you, bro. Like if you're gonna do the podcast game, like you kind of just got to go with the flow. Like don't make it all about like these are my accomplishments and blah blah blah.
Though I don't necessarily like disagree with Cam Newton. Just the overall point, the argument that we're making about how Cam would win if he was with playing for the Eagles that year. Or Jalen Hurts would have lost if he was playing for the Panthers that year. Like who cares? Who cares? It's because people want to have this knowledge. See, this is the thing. It's like, I'm sorry, but Newton's part of yesteryear. Like he's part of a previous generation now. And saying this, it's this weird complex where people feel like they have to one up each other on their knowledge of ball. If you don't think Cam Newton was better than Jalen Hurts, then you don't know ball.
Yeah.
Cam Newton was no, we're not trying to diminish what Cam Newton did. I think that overall point is stupid because we're never going to see it. How about you argue about 2 quarterbacks in the NFL currently? Like Cam's in the media now. I'm not sitting here saying that. I don't know. I'm not sitting here going, "Oh, Ryan Clark would have lost the Super Bowl if he didn't have Troy Polamalu." Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not. It's stupid. Like, you don't talk about that sort of stuff.
It's incredibly stupid. So I would say, Cam, just focus on you, bro, and talk about current things, not about your past playing days.
If we're in a big convention center, Derek, and there's like a whole bunch of groups having a bunch of sports debates, if there's one debating whether Jalen Hurts or Cam Newton was better in their careers, I'd walk away from that group immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would walk away from the group where Greenberg is trying to talk about how the Jets are cursed. I'd walk away from that group immediately.
No.
Now, 49ers kickers, I'm in.
Yeah, I bet you would be. All right. No, but I say all of those things to say that those are not my jackasses of the week. My jackass of the week, do you have the photo, Steven? This poor son of a bitch.
What? Who? Where? What?
I sent it in our thing. My jackass of the week is Jermel Jones. You may ask yourself, who the hell is Jermel Jones? Well, he's a 41-year-old who on Wednesday was arrested in Tallahassee, Florida. Why was he arrested? Because, well, he works at a Chuck E. Cheese, and he found a credit card of a customer, kept it, and started making charges. Good Lord. Charges on her card. And Jermel was working at Chuck E. Cheese, if you can zoom in on the photo real quick, and he was on his shift, and, unfortunately, dressed up as Chuck E. Cheese in front of the kids, he was put in handcuffs and had to leave the premises. Now, I say this because I bring him up as Jackass of the Week because you have to feel like a jackass to be arrested in a Chuck E. Cheese outfit. Now, also credit card fraud, not a good crime either. But I just want to read what happened. So the cop making the arrest goes, I grabbed his right arm while giving him the verbal instruction. He doesn't call him Jarmel, by the way. He says, Chucky, come with me, Chucky. He calls him Chuck E. Cheese while he's arrested.
Hell yeah. Chuck.
Jones immediately started tensing up, locking both of his arms forward in front of his chest and attempting to pull away from my grip on his right arm. I gave the verbal command, stop resisting, you are being detained. But just the fact that he called him, hey, Chucky, get over here. He called him Chucky. And, usually when you get arrested, they do give you some courtesy to be like, can I put some clothes on? Like, no one's ever arrested, like, unless it's like a violent crime. No one's ever arrested like butt ass naked. They do give you they do give the opportunity to put clothes on. But if I was Jarmel, whatever his name is, Jarmel Jones, I would have asked him, can I please take off this costume and just
Nope.
be arrested with my dignity intact?
Nope. No. Nope. The mascot's his identity. It's mascot rules, Derek. It's mascot 101. Stay in character at all times until you're out of view. And it seems like, I agree with AJ here. The cop is keeping kayfabe alive for the kids. That's admirable. I agree. I agree. Stay in character at all times. Never let him show you who you are.
He didn't have to remove the head in front of the kids. He could have gone to the bathroom and taken his head off and then the costume off and just been arrested as a normal person.
Yeah, that's traumatizing for the kids. I don't know which one was more traumatizing, whether they'd actually see that the Chuck E. Cheese isn't a real there's a real person under there and it's not actually Chuck E. Cheese, or seeing Chuck E. Cheese walk away in handcuffs, getting into a police car. Like, what happened afterwards? Did they see him get tased?
Yeah, that also would be scarring to kids. No, but like, can you imagine that? Like, they
funny, is it, man?
they do take the head off when he gets in the car. But can you imagine he shows up in the jail cell dressed up as Chuck E. Cheese, and he's like looking around, and other people are like, "What are you in for? Stealing some cheese?" Like that's the most, like, your first day in jail and you're dressed up as a mouse. It's gonna be intimidating as hell.
I was playing human skee ball where I was just throwing kids down the skee ball lane and trying to knock the kids over.
Yeah. Poor bastard. I mean, you have to feel like a jackass. It's a jackass crime to begin with. Take someone's credit card and start, paying for, stuff with their money. But to be arrested in full Chuck E. Cheese mascot attire, you're not going to the Mascot Hall of Fame, which, by the way, Lucille is going into today, I believe.
Oh, congrats to him.
I know. What makes you get into the Mascot Hall of Fame? I didn't even know there was a Mascot Hall of Fame.
Longevity.
Probably.
Community impact.
All right, before we get out of here, we'll do a little pop culture catch up. Steven, have you seen anything of late?
Superman. Saw Superman on Tuesday.
What'd you think?
Fun little flick.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. I like the
dog. Was it too woke for you?
It was a little bit. That's the funny part about it. That there
was
really
it really?
Wasn't. No, it wasn't. Come on. That was
did
funny.
Did you agree with Mike Francesa? Where he's like, I just don't like Superman getting his ass kicked all the time. Like, come on now.
I'll say this. Guru had that same take, by the way.
Yeah.
Not big on Lex Luthor as a villain. Never have been.
I heard that this was actually the most accurate portrayal of Lex Luthor in quite some time, or like a good villain portrayal of him.
Sure.
Where other ones were kind of comical, like Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, but like Lex Luthor still doesn't do it for me. Like,
yeah.
Hey, this guy's really smart. Well, what's next? What else does he have? Like, he doesn't do anything where it makes him like. I'm not big on the villains that are just as powerful with their brain as they are on the outside. Like, I just, like, okay, he's really smart, but if you get to him, Superman's going to kick his ass. It's Superman. So I've never really been big on Lex Luthor, even going back to Gene Hackman too. Like, what's threatening about this guy? He's got
money and guns.
He's just got this egg-headed henchman and Miss Tetzmacher. That's it.
Yeah.
You'd make a good Lex Luthor.
Thank you. Because all bald people look like Lex Luthor.
I mean, you shave your beard. You got yourself a Halloween costume, my friend.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to be Lex Luthor.
You can be Lex Luthor and Tim Webb can be Superman. How about that?
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I don't. I'm not a big Superman guy, so I don't know if I'm going to catch it. To be honest, I'll probably wait till it comes out on HBO Max. All right, I watched Happy Gilmore 2 the other night, and I know you haven't seen it yet, so I won't spoil much. But here's what I have to say: I watched the first one on Thursday, and is it a perfect movie? Because I've seen a lot of people say lately, like, it's such a perfect movie. It's not a perfect movie. Happy Gilmore, the original one, is not a perfect movie, but it is so feel good, and it gives you memories of where you were when you first saw it, whether you watched it when it came out in 1996 or you're a young kid in the early 2000s like me when you saw it for the first time and you rented it from Blockbuster. It's hilarious and it's goofy and it's a great 90s comedy. Are there throwaway lines sometimes? Like, everything's so quotable in that movie that it makes it funnier than probably what it is. Like when Shooter McGavin says, yeah, and Grizzly Adams had a beard, and Lou Trevino's like, Grizzly Adams did have a beard. Not the funniest thing in the world, but because we remember it, it becomes funnier than what it was. But by far, it is Adam Sandler's best movie. And I am a Sandman guy. Like, I do love the man. I think he's a comedy legend. But he has a lot of misses. Like, I really think that Adam Sandler is the Snoop Dogg of comedy. And what I mean by that is Snoop Dogg, I think, had a great album in Doggy Style and a few good ones after that. But everything since that has been not very good. That's how I think about Adam Sandler sometimes, where he struck gold with Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore and The Wedding Singer and The Water Boy. And then after that, I even love Anger Management. But there's a lot of there's a lot of misses. And so with Happy Gilmore 2, Adam Sandler is not a great script writer, I will say. Like, he was really good back in the day when he made Happy Gilmore and all the movies I just mentioned, but I enjoyed the first half of Happy Gilmore 2. There's some good, solid jokes. There's a whole thing about him having, this is not a giveaway, but he has like secret compartments for where he stashes his booze. Everyone gets more ridiculous after the other. That's a solid joke. The movie, when it's time to actually play golf, kind of becomes a mess. Like really, there's so many cameos, way too many, and I really don't care about like who pops up in the movie. All I care about is the storyline with Happy Gilmore, and I won't spoil it. It happens in the first 5 minutes. There's something significant that happens with the plot of the movie where you're like, oh, why did they do that? Why did they do that? What? And it's kind of misleading with the way that they've been doing the trailers for the movie. So that's disappointing. And yeah, like it doesn't feel like a Happy Gilmore movie. It doesn't feel like a sequel to Happy Gilmore. It honestly feels just like Grown Ups or name Jack and Jill, any of these other Adam Sandler movies. So while I did enjoy some things, the John Daly cameo is pretty funny. Or and Will Zalatoris, the golfer that looks like his caddy from the first movie. That's a funny joke. There's funny stuff. It's not terrible. It's not horrible. But is it good? Not really. No.
I didn't listen to anything you said. I turned my computer to mute because I didn't want you to spoil anything because I'm going to watch it eventually. And you have
I'm not spoiling it. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. Where
it's great. I put you on mute. I didn't listen to a word you said. Hopefully,
all right, fair enough.
I didn't want to hear anything about it.
Fair enough. I probably won't watch it again.
Yeah, I mean that's obvious. I think we knew that. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm looking forward to watching it. I don't know. I've been watching all these train wreck documentaries too.
You watch Poop Cruise, right?
Watch the Poop Cruise. Then I think after not after the podcast, maybe after the podcast, I watched Balloon Boy, where a guy gets.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
He's Balloon Boy.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's one called PI Moms, which is like based in the Bay Area, which I'm interested in watching. I guess I've been catching up on those. And the NFL Top 100, if we're going with pop culture catch up.
We're going with the top 100 when it comes to pop culture catch up.
I guess.
Are they getting solid interviews with that one still?
Not really.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's kind of gone downhill as far as the interviews go.
I know it's not the same without Ike Taylor and Gerald McCoy and Pat McAfee, who were the stars of that back in the day.
All they got is like Will Shipley.
Do you remember what was his name? The cornerback from the Texans, Charlie James. I want to say his name was.
Yeah.
Craig. Yeah. He not a big name, but like they just had personalities on that show where it's like, was it the best like production? No, but like the interviews were just very entertaining.
Yeah, nothing really like that this year.
Yeah. All right, everybody. That's going to be it for today. We'll be back on Wednesday. Yeah, that's all I got. Steve, anything else you wanted to bring up?
I got nothing, man.
All right, then. All right, everybody. We will see you on Wednesday. To everybody in the chat, to Hold on. What is Rockin' asking here? To Rock a New Era, is Sandler the chubby checker of movies? Chubby had one hit, but ran that right into the ground. I wouldn't say that. I do love me some chubby checker.
Here's
I'm
the
walking-
worst kept secret. Ernie 2 hates Sandler.
You can't hate Sandler. Sandler's so lovable.
Ernie, the entire time we talk about Adam Sandler, Ernie keeps on going, or Rockin' New Era keeps going with the same points over and over. And I get it, but you clearly don't like him.
Yeah, I know. And like what, like I get it at this point. Like Sandler's just trying to, he's got this deal with Netflix. He wants his, his girls to be in the movie and his wife, but I don't know. Yeah, it's like I said, not good. All right, to Rock a New Era, to AJ Cruz, to Ernie One, to Tacky. I saw for a little bit of time. To Danny Golding TV, to Lauren F. I believe that is it. Oh, to Aram, to our guy Aram. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Steven, say what you always say.
That's our opinion, man. I don't know what I'm doing at the stream.